and we're going to be playing this game between My Little Puny and Zero. It's going to be a Zerg versus Protoss on Antiga Shipyards, so we're going to be exhausting all the different strategies everyone has for this map, and Zero is going to be over here as our Zerg player. His opponent is the orange Protoss player, My Little Puny. And I'm gonna pick My Little Puny. I don't know these players again. I don't know if this actually gives you any points or any sort. Zero is making drones right now, I assume. So hopefully he's not going for any sort of super cheesy strategy, as this map is pretty large. Even though Protoss is a little bit weak early game, it's gonna be difficult for him to bust in with any sort of way too fast rush, so we'll see how this goes. A pylon is going down over at the Nexus, so My Little Puny is actually not opting to build it at the front end to wall off, so this is a really strange build already. So we'll see if he's able to hold off any sort of Zergling run by, which is going to be a major problem for him as this game goes on. He may SimCity over here with a gateway and then build his next pylon over here and his cyber core in this direction. So we'll see if he's able to do this. His probe is going to be scouting right now at 12 food, so going to be waiting for one more probe before throwing down that gateway. There's the gateway coming down. He is pausing probe production for just a second. There it is, coming back up. Zerg player Zero over here. Still no real action, is saving up some minerals, so we'll see what he decides to do with that. It looks like he will be going for a expansion up at the front and going for a pool afterwards. Looks like our Protoss player going to be scouting over here, not going to find much, and it looks like the probe is going to take a short break over there. More probes on the way. He's actually not spending his... There we go. Chrono Boost going down on the Nexus. Going to be able to spend that Chrono Boost down and get out additional probes. Looks like the spawning pool has been started by Zero. Gateway is complete. He's actually not SimCity'd this at all. And if our Zerg player decided to go Roach all in, this base is completely open. And of course that's not happening right now. And the Zerg player is coming in here and is going to find this really strange that nothing of note has really happened in terms of a wall off, and the cyber core is about halfway complete. Gas coming up for Zero, no doubt going to be going for that Zergling speed, which is great for keeping map control. And the Overlord going to be scooting way over here to see exactly what's going on. And it looks like there is a probe going to get chased out of here by a drone. Of course, drones do beat probes one-on-one, I believe. And Zero's expansion is going to be complete in just a few seconds. And the drone going to steal some, probe is going to steal some gold minerals and retreat back home. Looks like the drone over here getting zapped away. Another gateway is coming up for My Little Puny. He hasn't gotten his second gas yet. He's got full Chrono Boost at the ready, so I really wonder what he's saving that up for. And we have Zero over here, and it looks like I may have chosen the wrong person to win this game, especially if the Chrono Boost has not been spent. And we have another gateway coming up, and everything is being revealed to our Zerg player Zero, so he knows exactly what's going on over here. He sees the full Chrono Boost, he sees the late to warp gate tech, not getting Chrono Boosted, of course. We also see 3 gateways and no second gas. Finally, the second gas going down. That is a very late gas over here. Zero throwing up another creep tumor up at the front. So this second gas should have been grabbed immediately after the cyber core finished, or immediately after he had enough money after the cybernetics core finished. For those of you who are interested in making your gameplay even smoother, and he needs to spend that Chrono Boost. You need to keep coming back, checking your Nexus to see if your Chrono Boost is being spent, also to see if there are enough guys on gas. Get guys in gas. Anyways, we have Zero over here. It pains me to see a Protoss player who forgets to put guys in gas, as that is the most crucial thing you need in this game as a Protoss player. The metabolic boost is on the way for our Zerg player. No pull off from the gas, so we'll see what he's deciding to go for. And the Doctor is lagging a little bit. The Doctor needs to spend some of that money he was making on a better internet connection. And we have the Stalkers going to be getting over here. Additional Stalkers popping out, and finally, at the 6 minute and 30 second mark, the warp gates have finished. The Overlord is going to be checking in here, and it's going to be super confused as to exactly what's going on, as there is no tech, and it's already the 6 minute and 40-second mark, and there's also no expansion until just now, and additional sentries getting warped in there for My Little Puny. Actually, a stalker over there. Zergling's going to be checking up at the front. There is a lair on the way, as well as the Evo chamber for Bombla Zero. And that Overlord is going to get killed off without seeing too much. There's 3 gateways. I guess it's a great way to hide your tech. Just don't build any. And finally, going to be throwing down a pylon. Still no tech, and it looks like the Zerglings are going to be running in here. We'll see if he's able to maybe snipe down something, or maybe even just run in here. Oh, free run in, and the sentries and all of these stalkers are in grave danger. A couple of these units are going to get picked off. Looks like the Zerglings are victorious. A couple of Zealots being warped in just a little bit too late. The entire Protoss army has been completely decimated, and Spire getting thrown down. Additional 8 drones now on the way. Now that he's seen everything inside this base, we do have a Twilight Council on the way, and this second Nexus is about finished. And no more Zerglings for the moment. The Spire will be finishing in about 75 seconds. So in about another minute, he will be able to get those mutas out, and it's going to spell disaster for My Little Puny. He has a really puny Stalker army. He doesn't have the Blink upgrade, and he's only now grabbing his natural expansion. I can actually see Bombla Zero expanding at the same time and being completely fine. And the 18 Zerglings on the way. Blink now getting started for those Stalkers, but it's just not going to be enough against this really large Muta ball that is going to be on the way, especially, well, he's not saved up that much money. I guess, we'll see how many Mutas he decides to commit himself into making. The Blink upgrade is not being chrono boosted, so you need to spend that chrono boost, spend it on the probes, or spend it on your upgrades. Make sure you're spending your chrono boost for the entire game. 2 gas going down for My Little Puny. There is a Zergling going to be checking in here to see exactly what's going on. A 3rd base coming up for our Zerg player. 10 drones popping out right now, and the Spire is complete. Where is it? The Spire is there. It is. The Spire is complete, so he should be able to get those mutas out. I hear mutas spawning somewhere, but I have no idea where that is, but that's okay. So we're going to be seeing 5 mutas on the way, and there are a couple more Zealots being warped in, and the Zealot charge is being upgraded, and those Stalkers should have the Blink unless you cancel it. The Templar Archives is also up. We'll be able to get some Templar to storm those mutas if they get too large of a ball, and there's a couple of mutas out in the field right now. 3 more mutas going to be spawning over here. That's going to make a pretty large flock of 8 mutas, and without any defense in the main, My Little Puny is going to have such a hard time dealing with this, especially with only 3 Stalkers and just a bunch of Zealots basically. And the mutas are making their way across the map right now. The 3rd base is complete, and a Queen is on the way at that location as well. And Archon's now on the way to help defend against those impending mutas. Going to be able to put that in the mineral line, but of course the mutas are now arriving. They were going to be able to do so much damage to this mineral line. I wish I could check the workers kill tab. A couple of Zealots also going to be joining in this raid. Stalkers also getting into position, but little does Bombla Zero know, there's not that many Stalkers over here. He can actually harass the front with his Zerglings as well. I'd love to see that happen. A robotics facility on the way as well, so this is a lot of tech to be off of 2 bases, especially not mining the gas over here. And not too saturated. We have a couple of mutas going to be pushing back over here. The 3rd base is grabbing 2 additional gas as well as beginning mining. The Queen is out in the field. The muta is going to be poking in here shortly, I guess. Our Protoss player isn't really in a position to make too much. He's only got these 3 Stalkers, which can easily be taken on by this number of mutas. 6 more mutas spawning right now, and the +1 flyer attacks also on the way for those mutas. And Templar is out in the field. It does have the Storm, I think. It looks like those Stalkers are going to fall so quickly. Where's that Archon? 2 Archons at the natural expansion, and looks like a bunch of units getting warped in. Those Stalkers are going to get taken down so quickly. Going to be losing a couple of mutas here, possibly. Looks like he actually got away without losing a single muta. No response from those Archons. All of these probes are going to be going down. A huge number of losses. The Archons finally getting back in here. They will be able to take down this robotics facility, and Babla Zero will be able to retreat out of here. And oh no, the muta's balling up, but the Archon's too slow to be able to catch up. Storm being researched right now, so it looks like Storm was not upgraded. And Babla Zero in such a great position. Roach Warren on the way, 32 Zerglings at a time. Melee attacks level 1 also on the way. Going to be throwing up some additional tech. Going to be going for the Infestation Pit as well as the Baneling's Nest. One of these is in. I actually don't really care which one. I just know that they're coming up. And we have a bunch of Zerglings out in the field. We can actually check for you. Looks like a Baneling's Nest, Roach Warren, and the Infestation Pit, like I was saying earlier. The Muta's going to be getting into position over here, going to be poking in towards the natural expansion, and is completely open. The Archons are in the main, and all of these probes are going to get completely obliterated, maybe even taking down a couple of these gas. And every moment not mining gas is bad for My Little Puny, especially going for this Archon Templar composition. The Archons are getting into position. 2 pylons do fall, and the +1 attack for those mutas is now complete. Pathogen glands as well as the hive is on the way for Babla Zero. He can easily take additional bases anywhere he would like. Our Protoss player is so far behind. He's got so many probes mining that gas, and he doesn't have much of an army except for a couple of Archons. So if those Roaches get over here, it's just going to be disastrous. Roaches are a little bit, oh my goodness, Banelings being morphed right now. 12 Banelings right now. The mutas will be able to join in for this attack, and this is going to be the death blow, especially with the Roaches that are definitely going to be on the way. The Pathogen glands now finishing up. Still no Infestors. There we go. Infestors now popping out. 6 Infestors at a time. Thought I saw some spawn right there, but I guess not. The Banelings do not yet have speed, but that will be finished real soon as well. Looks like the Glial Reconstitution going to be finishing for those Roaches as well. As soon as those Roaches and Infestors pop out, it will be time to push. And looks like a bunch of cannons going down for My Little Puny to help defend against those mutas. But he's in such a bad position. All of these Stalkers finally warping in. And he's going to be grabbing those upgrades. It's always good to grab upgrades, especially if they're trying to do some sort of harassy build. We've got additional hatches on the way for Babla Zero in this bottom position. The Zealots and the Stalkers looks like they're going to be moving out across the field right now. Maybe going to be checking out these 2 Overlords. And our Zerg army is now moving into the center. Roaches, Infestors, Banelings, and mutas. This is going to be such a devastating push. I can't really see My Little Puny being able to hold this off, especially with the Ultralisk follow-up. We have Neural Parasite on the way as well. Going to be able to Neural Parasite all of those Archons. Going to be able to tear apart all of those Zerg Zealots very, very easily. And our Protoss player has so few options. Ground weapons level 1 now only finishing up. The Zerglings, I believe they are 1 or 0 right now, soon to be 1-1. And the chitinous plating on the way for those Ultralisks. 3 Ultralisks popping down right now for our Zerg player, and our Protoss player has actually managed to secure himself a 3rd base. So this is actually a good position for our Protoss player, sort of. It's a better position than he could have been in if our Zerg player pushed it a little bit more aggressively. The Infestors and the Zergling going to be checking in here. Does see those 3 Archons, and the 3 Ultras will be popping right now, and the Zerglings are going to be charging in here along with the Roaches, the Infestors, and Banelings in tow. Looks like the Zergling is going to be running in here, going to do a surround on those Archons. Those Archons are quickly falling, and the Baneling is getting into position. And looks like the Infestors over here going to be able to throw down some fungal growths. And actually a bunch of those Neural Parasites going down, going to be attacking. The Archons are going to be attacking each other. Looks like the Muta's actually doing plenty of damage, but the Zerg attack has only managed to completely obliterate the mineral line. But our Zerg player is now massing 45 Roaches. This is going to be way more than My Little Puny can hold off. And even though that attack failed, it is only paving the path for an even bigger attack, more Templar on the way to be able to storm the next time all of those units pop out. And we should be seeing a drone transfer real soon from the natural expansion over to one of these new bases. And all of those roaches have spawned. The Ultras are out in the field as well. They will be leading the charge in. And here comes the final push from our Zerg player. This will be able to end the game. There are more gateways over here that are not being utilized. These Templar do not have enough energy, and here comes the Ultras and the Roaches going to be pushing in here. These Stalkers do not stand a chance. The Archon trying to do as much damage as possible, but the Roaches are on the field, and those Zealots are stuck behind the mineral line, just charging at nothing. The Roaches getting a nice surround all over the place. Storms going off on the Roaches, but not the best spell to use on Roaches, and those Roaches running up the ramp. And this expansion is going down. My Little Puny getting completely destroyed. GG. And this game goes to Bobla 0.